Danbury has caused more rule changes than any team in probably hockey history. And the fans, at the start of the year, they banned air horns. Okay, thanks to Jeff Kozo, I think. They banned air horns. They banned something else recently, and now they banned this lovable part of Danbury history, the body bag. I'm appalled. Hey, what's up, everybody? Talking Trash Podcast, episode 17. We have a special guest. Now, this is a special number, Amesy, okay? Number 17. That is your number, obviously.
It's actually your number, but now it's our number. Now it's our number.
Yes, it's our number.
Yeah.
So what better way, okay, than to have a great guest who's definitely been playing like a trasher lately. Brochu, Fort Wayne Komets' own Brett Brochu. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. It's pretty great to be here, but my first ever number playing hockey was 17 also. So
no way,
no way.
That's unreal.
Nice. Yeah, good.
Well, this is where Ames starts talking about the universe and how we're all connected somehow. So now this is making more and more sense. Yeah. And Brett, it's a pleasure to have you, man. And listen, before we really get, because this is a special episode. Before guys, like, subscribe. Leave a comment, good, bad. I know I always wait too long, so make sure you guys like and subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that fun stuff. And listen, this is a great episode. And again, as you know, Amesy, we are Team BioSteel. We joined the team a week or so ago. The official drink of athletes, clean, healthy hydration. We're gonna put a link in the description for your 20% off. Follow them at BioSteel Sports, www.biosteel.com. You guys got to check it out. You know, Amesy, I didn't realize they also got protein powders, and they got stuff like creatine, glutamine.
They got a whole supplement line. Like I was using their their BCA, like their hydration mix. That's what I've been using. I've always used theirs. But I'm obviously I'm going to be using all their other supplements now. I'm super stoked to try all those. But I've always used BioSteel for my hydration.
No, so definitely give them a shout. Make sure you're following them. They're team talking trash too. So we got to support the guys. And listen, man, we always touch base with last episode. And last episode we had some good conversation, man. Everybody has been talking about what we decided we wanted to do with the trolls, and seeing as though. It's an Olympic year, okay? The Olympics are in Paris this year. We had a fan, actually. I had a stupid name. I called it Patrolling the Trolls. But then this guy commented, why don't you just call it the Trollympics? And I think it's genius. So shout out to that. I was wondering
what that was when you had it written down in our notes. I was like, Trollympics. You think I would have figured it out because we did talk about it last week? But
well, listen.
I used up a lot of brain power at practice this morning. So
well, Listen, we're definitely gonna figure out how to do the Trollympics. And another segue is this past week I put on Instagram at DB Trashers, I put our boy Travis Rigdon in the Bad Boys Club.
Oh yeah. And
he had the second most likes, I think. And I don't know if they're really likes, because if you look at the comments. Oh my God!
He has more haters than anybody I've seen. Like, it's funny because, we all could have expected that. Like, people were like, "Oh no, you missed on this one." Like, they're even chirping us on that too. They're like, "Well, how would you guys do this? What are you guys thinking?"
I had people message me. Trav is a dick. He's a douchebag. Why is he in it? Oh, I hate. And I'm like, I just love it. That's what a trasher was being.
Reaction right there. Exactly.
Dude, shout out to Travis Rigdon, a proud member of the Bad Boys Club, maybe one of the most polarizing hockey players, okay, right now. And people are always like, well, he's not
social media for sure.
Dude, I absolutely love Trav. He's going to be part of our committee for the Trollympics. I think we could do a lot of fun stuff with him.
He's got no shortage of trolls to bring in for that.
Oh, dude.
The thing that I think is great about it, though, like, now the more that I think about, like, that idea of doing, like, the Trollympics is, like, you'll see these guys will, like, chirp, like, I tend to open people's profiles sometimes when they chirp me, and I'll like go through their profile pictures, and I'll see a picture of them with like just complete benders. Their ankles are taped up. Like these guys can't even skate, and they're chirping me about ice time. I'm like, man, this is classic. So we got to get those benders out and light them up.
So listen, guys, don't worry. We have basically a Trolympic committee together. We're gonna figure out the Trolympic games probably during the off season, and we'll let you guys know. Now,
battle drills.
Broch,
I think battle drills mostly the best.
Yeah. Listen, and listen, Broch is he's younger than us. Broch, you're 21, right? 22. How old are you, Broch?
Yeah, 21.
So you're a lot younger than me and Amesy, and you probably grew up a little bit more with the social media than me and Amesy didn't really have that. What's it like growing up, especially you? And we're gonna get to this a little later on. Just you've been playing high levels of hockey for the most part. How have you dealt with trolls, or what is that like for you, especially as a goalie?
Yeah, it's definitely something like I tried to stay away from.
Yeah.
Like I did a pretty good job, like not getting on social media like a crazy amount, even like just off of like I got off Instagram because it was pretty taxing. Like it's pretty funny. Like we get ripped. I mean, especially me in London, I would get shredded. Especially in the newspaper and stuff. I would get torched up pretty good if I had a bad weekend. Guys commenting or DMing me some pretty wild stuff. It's honestly funny. It's honestly really funny. You just got to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, and we
off sometimes because guys like they got no idea what they're talking about.
It is like an energy drain too. So like I feel like the smartest thing to do is to not put yourself out there. Like Brett was saying, like he's done a good job of kind of avoiding it and kind of staying off it, because you put yourself out there. Like, I mean, me and you knew this too, AJ. Like when I started building on Instagram, for building my following and stuff, like, I mean, I knew that this was going to come. Like at some point I'm going to be getting ripped on every day, which is definitely kind of par for the course. So, I mean, it gets worse and worse as you grow, but I mean, it's a good thing though for what we're trying to do, because it just means you got attention. Like you said, that's why you like polarizing figures, is because if you're polarizing, you got attention. So
well, listen, when I was 17, when they started the Trashers, same thing. I knew I was gonna get torched. You know what I mean? Thankfully for me, there wasn't social media like probably Broch had to deal with a few years ago when he was 17, 18. So you're right, man. It's just one of those things that come with the territory. But it's always interesting talking to young athletes performing at a high level, how they deal with it, because it's crazy, man. People are absolutely out of their minds, but it's fun, man. And moving on from last week too, like I said, we had a big shout out to the city of Danbury. April 1st is officially Danbury Trasher Day in Danbury, which is the funniest thing in the world to me. We're definitely gonna have some behind the scenes stuff. We're gonna put out a little vlog coming up. And when I was doing a lot of reflecting the past few days, this week especially, you sent me the throwback Danbury Trashers bus the other day.
Yeah.
And
I was stoked when I came across that thing. I was like, this is the sickest bus I've ever seen. We need to bring this thing back. We're going on tour. We're loading it up. We got to get that bus back at some point.
Dude, that was my dad. My dad, especially back in those days, he didn't really show too much emotion in terms of like happy emotion. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget when that bus was finished. And he called me, we were in the yard on White Street, and he's like, come downstairs. And I come downstairs, and that bus, I mean, you forget, in the moment, you're like, wow, this is a sick bus, blah, blah, blah. But when you sent me that picture, I don't know, like, it's just been so long since I saw that bus, and I'm just like, holy cow, that bus was insane. And I can't tell you how many eggs were thrown at it at visiting games and so many things. It was like we said, Darth Vader was coming into town, right? So it was like,
Man,
it was absolutely.
Imagine you did have social media back then. Like, just thinking about it right now, like how you were and all your buddies, and like you were in high school. Obviously, you were tearing it up, messing with the other team's rooms and stuff like that. I mean,
allegedly. Yes.
But I could only imagine what you guys would have been like if you're on social media. So for me, when I was in junior, it wasn't social media, but there was forums. And I remember I'd get ripped on the forums. It was all forums though back then, and like I wouldn't look at them too much. My dad would actually be the one that would tell me about what was going on in them, but I always got ripped on in these forums, the PIJHL forums back then. Oh, it was hilarious.
Yeah, same thing. There was a UHL forum, and like, oh man, it was fun, man. That was kind of our social media, but again, big shout out to Mayor Al, City of Danbury for the honor. It's crazy. It's been 20 years, which brings me to last weekend. Okay, the Null Junior Hat Tricks had Trashers Night. And the jerseys were sick. I mean, they were sick. They wore like Trasher style uniforms, the silver, black, and blue, and this was more like, I wish you were here for this because it was more your style. The guys wanted me to read the opening lineup, in the locker room. And like, I could get going, you know what I mean? But that's more like you really know how to amp that up. So they wanted me to do it. I think I did an okay job. I'm going to have to send you the film of it. They were going to put it out. But man, just walking in and seeing all the black, the silver, the blue, it was crazy. And then sure enough, 3 minutes into the game on Trasher Night, a line brawl. It was absolutely perfect. It was. You could have asked for, unfortunately we didn't get the dub, but a line brawl, I'll take it. And on Trashers Night, man, it was a lot of fun. And again, every time I go to the arena, everyone's asking, when's Amesy coming back? I said, maybe in the off season, we'll see. But everybody's asking for you back home, man.
Yeah, you did a great job on those jerseys. They looked really sharp with the silver and blue and stuff.
Dude, they look great, man. And shout out to the junior hat tricks. And hopefully, as years go by, that junior Null team will continue to grow and get better and better. I know it was kind of a tough season, but they got something there. So we'll see what happens. And listen, before we get into the bulk of this episode, you gotta put out there, man. All right, what's on auction right now? Later tonight, the auction ends. The first ever.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, later tonight, the end of the night tonight, we'll put it out. So I got the first ever one of one Diamond Hand, the original. So I decided, we talked about it on the pod. So like, I uploaded that auction for the charity that I chose there. I was auctioning a pair of gloves off. And I took a picture, and in the background, I had this mold, and you could barely see it. And I can't remember who it was. I'll have to dig for the comment. But one of the fans screenshotted the picture, said, not interested in the gloves, but I'm interested in this Diamond Hands mold. And like, as soon as I seen that, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's onto something. I told you about it. You're like, that's the greatest thing I ever heard. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then, so I was like, all right, I'm an artist now. It took me like 4 hours to do this thing. And I had to be really patient, which is obviously, is not really my game, but we did it. And then, had to clean up some imperfections and stuff. And I decided, with this one, I'm just going to keep it OG. We're going to keep it white, keep it plain, keep it pretty simple. This is the OG. Whoever gets their hands on this has the original one of one. And then when I was naming it, I was thinking of all these names, like this name has to be epic. And then I look up, I'm like, I'm going to look up like the most epic art pieces in history. And one of them, there's like obviously the Mona Lisa and like all these Da Vinci, whatever art pieces. And then there was one that sold actually for $200 million. And the name of it was number 17A.
There it is.
And I was like, all right. So I named it Diamond number 17A. So if anybody's wondering why I named it that, because it kind of seems like a weird name, it's a $200 million name, in case you're wondering.
So listen, guys, we're going to put the link in the description. You guys got to act fast because it ends tonight, Sunday night, tonight. You guys got to auction. This is a one-on-one. This fist, is this your right hand or left?
It's my right hand, yeah.
So this right hand has been just going through, causing rampage the past 2 years. You get your chance to have a piece. And I will say this. I saw some very weird comments so far on when you posted that, what people... Oh, what are they going to do with the fist?
You should see the private messages I've been getting.
Oh, dude. Well, listen. Hey, their money is green as anyone. So, listen, if you guys want a chance to have the fist that even Paul Blart Mall Cop Sean Allen's afraid to get, okay? Yeah. You have to bid. It ends tonight. It won't be the last, but I'll say this, like you said, I might have to bid on it because you know how I am with originals and 101s. That's unreal. Original.
Yeah, so, I'm not sure what it's at. I think it's at 400 or something as of the recording. I'm not sure what it'll be at when this launches. But yeah, man, I thought it was cool. It's fun for me to do too. So I'm looking forward to it. It comes in like an enclosed glass case, and I'm gonna sign it.
Oh yeah, man, it's unreal, cool. Man.
And so like I said, when I was doing this, it's like you gotta sit for like a lengthy period of time, and then it molds, and then there's like air bubbles, you gotta scrape them off and stuff. But I made sure to like flex my hand as hard as I could, so you could see the veins coming out of the top of my fist, and it looks pretty good. It looks good. And then I have a couple cuts on my knuckle right now, and I was wondering if they were gonna come out, and you can see the cuts on the mold on my knuckles. So it's definitely a 101.
Listen, if you're a hockey fan, a Diamond Hands fan, a Talking Trash fan, or just a hockey fight historian, get a piece of the most polarizing, dominating enforcer right now. I mean, I might bid on it. I'm being dead serious. And we might have to do a vlog next time you go through this process. If it takes you 4 hours, we might have to get behind the scenes of the next one.
It's a little tough, yeah, but that's all right. It's fun. It's fun.
But let's get into it. Fort Wayne Komets, you guys are in a dog fight right now. I was watching the games last weekend. Big Bro with a big win last weekend, I was looking. And listen, it's tight right now, man. I mean, obviously we're pre-recording. You guys got a big, it's a big weekend. This weekend has been big for you guys. Bro, I'll start with you. I mean, last weekend, they tap you on the shoulder. You're in there, and listen, every win, it feels like every time I turn on Komets hockey, it's like game 7 of a series, How's it been feeling, even for you as a goalie, last line of defense, how's it been feeling for you out there?
Yeah, I would say I was probably pretty nervous for that one. I knew that it was pretty much as much of a must-win as it could get. I was really pumped that the boys played that good, though. It was a nice win. We played hard, but yeah, literally the last couple weeks it's been grind time. Like you could tell just how, high pace everything has been. Like tight knit, just good defense, hard to score too for us. It's been tough. It's been tough.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching since Amesy's gotten there. I've been watching pretty much almost every game, and I remember when I first started watching, I mean, you guys couldn't pay for a goal. It's just little bounces here and there. It makes such a difference. And, Amesy, for you, it's we're so alike, and I know, you're the type of guy that could probably log 60 minutes of ice time if you had to, just to put a guy, team on your back. I mean, how's it been in the locker room? It's such a tight, I'm looking at the standings today before, we started taping. I'm like, man, one weekend, you could literally flip the whole conference. It's insane.
Yeah, it is tight. And it's, honestly, it's great in the locker room. I think everybody knows where we're at. Everybody knows we're already in playoffs. As simple as that. Everybody knows that we're in playoffs. Everyone's fighting for a spot. I feel like we're a better team in this position. I feel like we've always played, you've seen it happen since I've been here. It's we get behind a couple goals, and then all of a sudden the third period we're just in the team. You know what I mean? There's glimpses of us where we're better than every team in the league, and then we have there's also times where we struggle, but that's every team, and that's hockey in general. But this is what the game's about. This is why we're all here. And yeah, no, this is fun times for us. So it's just time to grind it out now, and then gotta get it. As long as we get our way into playoffs, we'll be fine. I feel like our team's built for playoffs, so it's exciting, man. This is what we play for. It's a good situation to be in. Not a good situation to be in, but it's a fun situation to be in. As scary as it is, and as intense as it is, and the nerves will take you, but that's why we play. So it's that's why we're here.
The Fort Wayne Komets seem to be the team where it's like a student where you have a month to do a research paper, and then you kind of put it off because you're going to ace it. You got it. Play a little Xbox tonight. Don't worry. And then it's like the night before. That's how it's seen. And you know what? As a fan, I kind of like it because it's like every game has that game 7 feel. And it's like it's funny because even the body language of some of the guys out there, it's not a negative when I say this. It's like first period, okay, second period, and then it's third. Listen, if you're a casual fan, just turn on the third period of a Fort Wayne Komet game, and you're going to see Cactus Jack out there running around crazy. You got Daou out there. You got DeJong. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm just like, this team is fun to watch. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at the play, and I'm studying a lot with the East Coast League, and I'm like, everybody's hoping you guys don't make it because, like you said, you guys are definitely built for the playoffs, and they're hoping, God, the Komets will be a tough out in a first round. And I got to tell you, too, man, I absolutely hate the playoff format there, right? So you got, like, the Western Conference, like, it's two divisions, right? And it's the top 4 in each or something?
Yeah, it's every division goes top 4. I think the NHL does the same thing. But
I hate it. I hate it.
I agree with you, though. You were saying that you'd like to see the top 8 in each conference. I like that, too. And I feel like, yeah, I just like it kind of also forces different battles. Like I've seen somebody who's talking about it the other day. I think it was Shane O'Brien. What's their podcast called? Shane O'Brien.
Missing Curfew?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They're talking about it the other day. They said the same thing. They're like, we're about to see, who is it, LA and Edmonton play in the first round. Is that who it is? LA, Edmonton, I'm pretty sure. They're playing in the first round for the 3rd year in a row. It's like, LA, if they do the top 8 in the conference, that's not happening. So it's, yeah, man, I agree with you on that one.
I hate that for so many reasons. And but listen, you guys just got to take it one period at a time, one game at a time. Hopefully, so listen, let's really get to why Brett Brochu is here. Last week we talked about goalies, and I made a comment which you liked, Amesy, about goalies being a few nuggets short of a Happy Meal. And I don't know why exactly that is, because it was like, listen, I didn't come from some rich hockey culture in Danbury, Connecticut growing up. But just even back then in the 90s, people are like, yeah, goalies are weird. Goalies are just off.
Everybody knows that's just like a thing people say. And like, I'm going to be honest, like as of late, it's been less so. When I was younger, I felt like every goalie I ever had was a little bit different, a little bit off. But I mean, like I've said it before last week, I'm sure if you asked every guy in the room who the weird cats are on the team, they'd probably say me and Broch. For sure, me and Broch. We'll be the ones peeled off on the front of the bus, sitting side by side, talking about crazy universal law and just meditating off in the corners. But yeah, I mean, it's a thing. Everybody knows the thing. So what is it? That's the thing.
So after we recorded the episode, and we put it out, so many people are reaching out. And listen, goalies are people have been DMing me who are allegedly goalies are like, yeah, we are weird. They admit it. So I did a little research and I came across an article that came out last year, thehockeywriters.com. And Broch, I'm going to read you this quote. This isn't me. This is a quote from thehockeywriters.com, and I want to get your input on it. This is a direct quote. Goalies are often thought to be on the outside of society's cusp of normalcy, barely holding things together while ready to completely snap at any moment. They're weird creatures of habit with wacky superstitions and bizarre game day routines. What an endorsement for goalies. And I got to tell you, what is your thought, Broch?
Unfortunately, I can't even say any of that is wrong because, honestly, I fit the stereotype to a lot of parts. But I've met a lot of my goalie partners that fit it to a T even more than me. So it's honestly, it's really funny. The funniest part is I haven't talked to you much, but you're a goalie at heart. If you were a hockey player, you'd be a goalie, and I can tell.
Listen, I'll say this. I played goalie in in-house hockey once, and I don't know why I didn't stick with it. But you're right. I definitely feel I could have been a goalie, and I'm just so, I don't feel like goalies get enough attention, and I don't know why, but listen, do you have any superstitions, game day routines? Like what's your deal?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, honestly, it's such a hard position. So I think that's probably why we get so isolated, especially on game days. Like you see me on game days, I'm getting dialed. I need to obviously get myself in a different mindset. So that's kind of where I take it. It makes me look real weird because a lot of guys can be really loose and go play. But I need to get myself into a war mentality because that's what my body is almost going into, where I know it's going to be a couple hours of battling. And, it's pretty stressful, but you got to be able to manage that. It's a hard position. It's tough, but that's
probably, oh yeah.
I mean, I do quite a bit of stuff. My girlfriend would probably laugh at me because she's seen me do quite a bit of, weird stuff on game days and stuff. But you kind of just gotta that's what works. I mean, that's what makes me feel good. That's what gets me into the zone. And then after that, I could joke and laugh about it and just get on.
Yeah, well, listen, you hit it on the head, and again, I wasn't a goalie. Ames isn't a goalie. I am personally praying that his son Wes becomes a goalie. But one thing I'm trying to figure out is
it's on your tab if he does.
looking for sponsors for goalie equipment for young Wes. But
literally,
but it is true. You know, you talk about any sport. I played a lot of sports growing up. I know Amesy did too. It's like, you know, you got to get in a zone, and you know, again, the concentration level for goalies, and you know, the whole thing about being a trasher, right? It's not so much the Danbury trash. Like, trasher is an adjective now. It's an underdog thing. It's, you know, us against the world thing. I mean, you guys are really the last line of defense. And it's like, if something goes wrong, they always want to blame you guys, it seems like. You know what I mean? And just how much stress. I mean, again, you're 21 years old, and we're going to get into some of your credentials, but, I mean, you seem already, you know, way beyond your years. I mean, when did you start playing goalie? Like, were you always a goalie? Is it just something that just one day just clicked that you're a goalie, or what was it with you?
Yeah, so my older brother was a goalie. Like, he kind of led the way for me, but I have 5 cousins. We're all like around the same age, and they would. I'm one of the youngest, so they would just throw me in the net in road hockey, and then just pound on me. So that was kind of like where it started, and I loved it, and I was good. So then I actually played defense for the first couple of years, and then my first year AAA I had to choose, and I made the team as both. And then I was like, I was a defenseman or a goalie, and I didn't like backing up. Like, I didn't like not playing. So that's why I was like, oh, well, I just want to play player when I'm not playing goalie. But then they're like, no, you have to choose. So I chose goalie, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I just liked it. I don't know. I loved it as a kid. I thought it was sick. I thought the helmets were cool.
Yeah.
It just kind of took off from there. And then I just was good, and I loved it. So it just kind of took off, and then I got weirder as it went on.
So it wasn't in him already. It wasn't bred in him. It got bred into him as he went.
Well, it is true, because, again, when I started playing hockey out here, no one was really playing hockey, but we started with street hockey, and we kind of took the smallest kid, or the kid that we just want to, you know, the youngest kid, you stick them in the net, and you just firing, you know, you're going headshots at that age, you know. We're going straight headshots. And
me and Broch do that to Wesley at my house. So it is kind of, you know, hey, bottom of the totem pole. The baby's not big enough yet, so Wes, get in net. We're gonna rip some 1-Ts at you.
Yeah.
Now, Broch, you're from Ontario, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So who was your team growing up? Was it the Leafs? Was it the Senators? I mean, I don't know Ontario like that. You know, I'm not from out there, but did you have a team, or was it outside Ontario?
Yeah, it was. I loved the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
That was like my go-to. I loved Marc-Andre Fleury, so he was my favorite. They were also really good when I was younger. They won the cup too. So I liked the Wings too, because they were so close. I just across the border there, so I went to a lot of games at the Joe Louis. That was good times. They won, or you know, they were really good too. So.
Well, growing up, again, I didn't play goalie. You know, listen, I didn't know what I was doing half the time. But one thing I remember as a young kid in the 90s, you know, John Van Beesbrook had the coolest helmet at the time. Do you remember it, Amesy, when he had the Panther?
Yeah.
Was it John Van Beesbrook? Yeah, he had, like, that helmet always, like, when he came to town to play the Devils or something, I'd go out there. Broch, did you have a guy who had the best helmet? Like, that's one thing the goalies have that's cooler than everyone else is the helmet. Like, is there like a go-to helmet? I love the helmets.
Honestly, like, it's tough to pick. Like, a lot of guys had really cool ones. I think my helmet right now is probably one of the sickest, that especially like my favorite that I've ever worn.
I was literally just gonna say that. Like, you should see Broch's helmet that he wears. Like, yeah, tell us about your helmet. Tell us about.
Yeah, I mean, me and Sky pretty much put it up this year. You know, like, my brother helps out a little bit too, because he's pretty good with that stuff. He's a tattoo artist, so it was honestly, like, I'm not good with that stuff, so usually my helmets are pretty, like, plain. This year the guy did a great job.
Who did it? Do you know the
New
guy's
Jacks.
name?
Yeah, he's actually the e-bug for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So
no way.
Yeah, he just got I think he signed like a 1-day deal.
No way.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
Last week or something.
Just gotta repay him for all those helmets he's done for them, eh?
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, listen, We'll have to put a link in the description for who does your helmets, because I've always been like fascinated. I've also been fascinated with goalies that get traded at the deadline. You know what I mean? And it's like, you got to go, like, do you have like a backup plain white or black helmet? You know what I mean? Because I've always thought about goalies, and you don't see it too much at the trade deadline, but I always worry, like, could you imagine getting traded at the trade deadline and you go into the Rangers with like a Edmonton Oiler helmet. It's crazy how these guys can do these things, you know?
You see how much that these helmets are going for. That's the thing. Like, they're like $5,000 for a helmet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's wild. Yeah. I mean, that's my least favorite part though about goalie is, when you go to a new team, you just look like so bad. Just like at the start of this year, my gear was green and yellow, not matching at all. I had a white helmet. It looked terrible.
Green and orange, it's a bad mix.
Yeah.
Well, I seen some guy played remember we were talking about it. I told you it was some guy got called up and he ended up playing an NHL game this year. And he had, I think he was with, I can't remember what team he was with, but it didn't match all. He was wearing purple. Oh, he was with San Jose. Can't remember the goalie's name. You might know. But anyways, this guy had purple pads. And I was like, man, I sure hope this guy gets another game in his life in the NHL, because I'm sure his kids will razz him for the rest of his life. Because that's the only picture he has playing in the NHL. He's got purple pads on. Yeah. I'm sure he'll hear that for the rest of his life. So, that's a big thing, man. The pads. Do they have like any stickers or anything they can put on? Like,
yeah, they have I've seen that pad skins. Like,
pad skins.
That's the biggest thing. I've had pad skins on my pads before. So.
Now listen. Now you said you have an older brother, Brochu.
Yeah, I got an older brother.
And he played goalie, right? You said, or
he played goalie. He wasn't like, he didn't play anything like crazy competitive. He was good though. He was the one who, like, obviously kind of made me become a goalie. Yeah,
paved the way, And for you as a young goalie, I mean, and you could talk about playing, and forgive me, you played in London. Where did you play in OHL or?
Yeah, I played in London.
So that, for those who don't know, that's a big, huge junior league, huge junior team. Even I knew about that back in the day. I mean, what was it like playing with them? The pressure, like again, we talked about earlier, like every game you guys are playing right now feels like a game 7. That kind of had to feel like that out where you were playing junior, because like now that I've kind of gotten slowly back into the hockey, I've been paying attention more to like juniors, because I never really paid attention to that stuff. I mean, I would have never been good enough to play junior, but it looks intense out there.
Yeah, we should get you guys to come watch a game at the Bud. I could try and set that up, because it's honestly, it's electric. Like, we have 10,000 fans every single game there. It's unbelievable. Like, for a junior team, like I was 17, my first ever game, get out there and there's 10,000 people.
Wow.
Like, this is wild. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's honestly, it's pretty cool. And the thing is like, they do put a lot of pressure on us winning, but we do win. That's the end all be all. Like, we have to win, and we keep doing it, and they keep doing it. So it's honestly, it's pretty cool, but it was great for me. I got to learn a lot of things, even just about myself, going through all that pressure.
Kind of a London Knights legend though, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got to.
You put in some work in that league.
Yeah, I definitely got to do a lot of cool things in that league. That's for
I love
sure.
that. Love that for you, man.
We might have to.
Brochu was playing like what, 50, almost 50 games in a season.
Yeah.
What do you have, like 40 something games, right?
Yeah, I got a couple bad injuries, but one year I was on pace to play 60.
That's crazy. Yeah. So he's playing what? Were you playing 3-3s?
Yeah, my 19-year-old year I played I think 3-3s.
That's insane as a goalie.
Well,
I've actually watched the position this year more than I ever have, like especially when Broch is playing. Because I just know how Broch is now, and I love like his competitiveness and just how he's like just so dialed. Like, I'll even watch him in between whistles, just like watch him. He's going post to post. He's just dialed. Like he'll be looking around. I know what he's doing. I understand what he's doing now. Like, he's just like keeping himself in the game, staying dialed. He'll probably do some meditations. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know exactly, but I actually watch the position more when Broch is playing, especially. And man, I think the position's so cool. I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine you're the last line of defense, all this pressure, and it is a crazy position. And Broch is super athletic too, so he's fun to watch. But I can honestly say I've gotten more interested in the position than I have ever before. I never really paid much attention to it, just thought, yeah, those are just the weird guys back in the last time.
we said it. I mean, goalies just don't seem to get the right attention, in my opinion. You know, it is interesting. You know, it's such an interesting dynamic, and I guess the focus is do you do any like meditation or anything like that, Broch, like before a game? I mean, I know a lot of high level athletes. I know with boxing, which I'm involved with, a lot of guys are starting to really get into the meditation, even like visual training. You know what I mean? I mean, you think about the eyes of a goalie. I mean, it's got to be, you know, your head is probably the most important. You got to be on a swivel, your eyes, your mental. I mean, and playing where you played in junior, I mean, I think it's going to help your career because you've felt all this pressure. You know, you're playing this year in Fort Wayne, every game's like a game 7. So I feel like you're a guy to watch in the future because one thing I will say about athletes is you can have all the skill, you can have all the statistics, you can have all the intangibles, the height, the this, the that. But if you mentally don't have it, I don't care what position you play, what sport you play, it's not going to be a long career. And I think just looking at, I mean, you won a gold medal, correct? Or World Juniors. I mean, you've played high levels. And to me, like if I'm starting a team, a guy like you, I mean, that's who you want. You want guys that felt the pressure, played at high level. I mean, how important, you know, for young goalies watching this potentially, you know, younger than you. You're young to us, but younger than you. Like what do you say is like those intangibles that a lot of goalies may not have?
Yeah, that's legit the deciding factor, I think, in this position. Obviously, like I'm lucky where I got to have a lot of pressure when I was even younger than I am now. But that's something that is definitely a huge part of the position. Like if you can't deal with pressure or you can't know how to like turn that off and just be in the moment, then it's going to be really, really hard. And honestly, meditation is a huge part of bringing you into the moment. So if, you know, like honestly, I get pretty nervous like sometimes before games, but once I step on the ice, I'm like, this is my time. Like I'm ready to go. And I lose all of that feeling of anxiety or nerves or anything like that. It's just like now I'm in a flow state where I'm just ready to go.
It's probably a lot like fighting, I would think. Like when I listen to him say that, all I can think about is like the feelings I get before a fight. I get it still in hockey a little bit, but more so, you know, when we were in the King of the Rink tournament, like especially, I told AJ I had a really crazy meditation before, and like I was really focused, I was really dialed, and it kind of just those nerves, they only really they'll come, but then as soon as it's on, as soon as you're in it, and you're like you're now at war, everything goes away, and you're just in the moment, you're in complete flow state, and I find for me too, like the meditation stuff is very important to get there, and I'm sure like Broch being a goalie, like that's even more important because, I mean, you got to be in that state the whole game. I feel like as players, we kind of get to go in and out a little bit more because, you know, we get breaks and we go to the bench and, you know, as a goalie, you kind of just, you can't turn it off. There's nobody else in between those posts to back your ass up.
You can't hide.
Yeah.
You can't hide. So that's the thing is like even if I don't have like my best, I know I'm like, okay, if I don't figure it out here, like I could very well embarrass myself.
Yeah,
well, what it comes down to.
As a player too, like, you know, like some days you just don't feel as good as you would like, you know, coming in and you're like, I was talking about it the other day and I was just like, man, like, who was I can't remember who I was talking. I think I was talking about it with Carl Berglund, and we were just talking about it. He sits beside me, he's my stallmate in the dressing room, and we were looking at you in Parks, and we were like, man, imagine being a goalie. We were kind of just talking about it. Imagine being a goalie, like, because there's certain days where you come in as a player, and I'm sure this happens for everybody, maybe more so for some guys than others, probably more so for me than others. But, you know, some days you're like, oh, man, I wish I felt better. Like maybe I didn't eat. Maybe the food's just not sitting right, or maybe my energy just tired from the night before, from the game before, or whatever it is. Some days you're like, oh, I wish I felt a little bit better. But I feel like as a player, you can kind of get away with just being a little more simple and just be like, all right, I just got to not make mistakes. And, you know, my lineys or the other guys in the team are kind of going to back me up a little bit. But as a goalie, it doesn't matter. So it's like you come into that game, if you feel a little bit off, well, too friggin' bad.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a crazy amount of pressure to have. And I'm sure coming into a game where you know you're not feeling 100% that night, maybe you played the night before, maybe your hips are a little tight or whatever. I'm sure you're just like, all right, well, too bad. Just suck it up. You just got to do it. So it's a huge respect for playing that position.
Well, Brochu just hit it on the head too. And this is, you know, again, I got a different perspective. Yes, it was only 2 seasons, but as a GM, what I learned very early on, and Ames, you talk about it all the time, the mental of that, I need someone mentally strong. I'd rather have someone mentally strong than physically strong on my team. Okay?
Yeah,
and you know, when Brad Wingfield was here a few weeks ago, check out the podcast if you hadn't. He talked about, as now, you know, a GM and head coach of a junior team out there, you know, Coastal Tsunami, he wants guys mentally tough. And it's like, I want a guy that, listen, I mean, you see athletes nowadays, they got every sort of strength and conditioning tool. They got recovery. They got this. They got that. They're built like, you know, a brick shit house, right? But mentally, they don't have it. And listen, if
there's so many mentally soft players out there these days. It's not the players. It's just people. I feel like.
And you look at a guy like Brochu, and I'm gonna pump your tires a little, buddy. Is 21 years old, played, you know, a gold medal in the World Juniors. Okay, like he said, played in front of 10,000 fans a night. Coming to Fort Wayne, playing in front of like 8,000 fans, you know, a night basically.
We get,
you know
like,
what I mean?
12 on sellouts. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I mean, you have to be mentally tough. And Brett, I gotta ask you. I did some research, and the goalie position has seemed to get like literally bigger, right? Like guys are 6'3", 6'4". There was a guy that played last night in Philly. Guys like 6'7", Ivan Fedotov. Do you think your height, which is and you know your size, which is nothing you can really do about it, do you think that might scare people off in hockey nowadays? Because I think it's stupid. I think it's ridiculous. To me, I look at intangibles. I always went with the eye test. I always said, look, if this is a good player, this is a good player. I don't care about analytics and, you know, splits, home, away. Or if a guy's mentally tough, if he has the experience, to me, that's who I want. But do you think nowadays with the goalie position that seems to literally be getting bigger, do you think that hurts you at all?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it definitely will make it harder just off of, you know, what they're looking for. But the way I look at it is you just got to be good, honestly. Like, our job is pretty, like, black and white where it's you stop the puck or you don't.
Yep.
And then it's like, and then it comes down to winning too. So it's pretty simple. I think, obviously, yes, like size helps. If I grew a couple more inches overnight right now, I would be a better goalie. That's like, it's obvious, but I think it's very doable. A smaller guy, like, it's very doable. It doesn't mean you can't do it. You just got to be better at certain things. You know, my skating needs to be really good. My angles need to be really good. My hands, my reaction time. Like, there's things that I need to knock out of the park where some of these guys can maybe get away with it just because they have that extra size where pucks are hitting them. Right? So that's the difference. I think, you know, there's some really good goalies in the NHL that are small, and they're showing that, yes, you know, you can be really good and you can dominate at the NHL level.
Well, the reason I bring this up is I think sports as a whole, with executives, GMs, owners, whatever you want to call it, scouts, I really feel like the analytics has gotten a little out of control for my taste. You know what I mean? Like
in all sports, there's so many little things now that they say is like a prerequisite or like a.
I think. Listen, I think honestly, and people could say what they want about me, but we built a good team in 2 years. I never height, weight, this, that. I mean. Like you said, bro, you either good, you either have it or you don't. And I feel like people get so hung up, especially young coaches, young GMs, young even owners. They get so hung up with this analytics stuff. And Brochu just hit it on the head. If I'm looking at goalies right now, if I'm a East Coast AHL, and I don't care if he's 5'8". If he's winning, he's got a gold medal. Okay, he's played under pressure. Okay. That's a guy I want. And I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Amesy. I mean, like you said, this guy has to work harder like you said, he may not have some of those specs a guy 6'3" has, but to me, I want a dog that I know is going to go the extra mile to stop the puck. Rather than, like he said, a guy that can kind of take a play off or shot off knowing, hey, I got extra 4 inches on me, pause, and I'm going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like you said, everybody's gotten so big over the years. Like, Brochu isn't a small guy by, like, the average size dude. Like, he's not small. It's just the position's getting bigger. But when you watch, like, the way Brochu plays, he's athletic. Like, he's very athletic. And you'll see some of these bigger guys get away with not really being as athletic because they don't really have to be, because they can kind of just be in position and they're big. So it's like, yeah, like Brochu says, just all you really have to do is just be good. And at the end of the day, I think that's the standard. I know there's some pretty good goalies right now in the NHL. Brochu could probably name them. But, at the end of the day, like, usually the guys that are a little bit on the smaller end are just more athletic, and that's why they're still able to play at that level. But that's what I notice. Like, when I come in and shoot on Brochu, his hands move quick. That's the biggest thing that I notice on Brochu. And obviously they have to, because, he's not 6'6" or whatever, like some of the other goalies are out there. But yeah, that's what I notice when I shoot on Brochu. He's athletic, and just he's a dog. Like, he doesn't quit. Like, that's the thing that I respect too. Like, I know for a fact, no matter what the situation is, like in practice when I'm shooting on Brochu, he's not going to quit. He's not quitting. Like, he's going to be going full. Like, he's going to, like, till the last puck is done. He's dead tired. He is still diving across the crease to make that last save. And that quality to me is more important than anything.
Yes. And the reason I'm saying all this is because I know there's people that watch that are part of organizations. I know there's people, a lot of people message us. They ask for tips, this and that. Listen, our second year with the Trashers, we had a goalie, Sylvan Daig, okay? He was small. Probably smaller than Brochu. And a lot of people, the head coach at the time said, well, I'm like, listen, this guy's won championships. He's good. He's a dog. That's a guy I want. So listen, if you guys are watching, all right, and I hope Fort Wayne, they see what they got in Brochu. You guys got to check this man out. And Brochu, tell me about the World Juniors, okay? We kind of skipped over that like that was like really nothing. What was that like to win a gold medal? I mean, that's got to be a feeling that, not a lot of people have experienced.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely hard to just make that team in general. I didn't get to play in the summertime. I played when it got canceled, like when we were supposed to do it at Christmas. But just being on that team alone, practicing with the guys, it was great. Like, it was unbelievable. We had a great group of guys. Really hard workers. Like, that's where when you see those guys, you really realize like what the it factor is, and it's a lot of intangibles that they have and really good things that they do every single day. They're so consistent. Guys are grinding. Like, they grind. And they have that skill level, the mental toughness. They've got all the tools checked, and that's why a lot of them make it to the NHL.
As a goalie on that team, who, like, when you first got out there to practice with that team, was there someone that just, like, wowed you skill-wise, or, like, a player, like who was on that team that kind of caught your eye right away?
Like, Bedard was on the team, so he's next level. He's obviously pretty special. His shot, he scored on me a lot of times, so it was a little frustrating when I was getting beat clean from the top of the circle, and I was like, yeah, this doesn't really happen to me too often.
Brochu gets fired up. Yeah. Brochu wants to win practice game, whatever it is, mini sticks. He doesn't care. He wants to win. Yeah,
mini sticks.
Well, that's what you hope you have in an athlete. And a lot of athletes, Ames, we talk about it. A lot of athletes today, they got all the skill, they got all the intent. They're missing something. But listen, Brochu, I really wanted to talk to you because a few weeks ago you got into what they call a brouhaha, I believe. You were in Wheeling. What the hell happened? And because I'm getting clips sent every day to me, whether it's you guys or fights or this. I had 3 people send me, yo, you saw Brett Brochu? Is Ames playing? Like, well, how could he get like, you got speared? What happened with you?
So that was the first thing is, if 17 was in the lineup, that doesn't happen. The guy didn't touch me. So that was the first part.
I was ready to come down there myself.
Yeah, but I had the puck covered. He just completely speared me, and I was like, "Well, yeah, that's not a thing." So I just went insta shed and went after him in the corner. And then the ref was yelling at me. A couple of guys were yelling at me. I was like, "All right, I need to calm down here because
we had an e-bug."
Yeah, we don't have a backup, and I was like, "All right, yeah, I get it." And I was going to pick up my blocker and get settled back in, and then the goalie, I look up, he's right in my face, and I was like, "Okay, I guess this is happening." And I grabbed his helmet off, popped it, and then he skated away, and I was like, all right.
As soon as he got his helmet insta ripped off and then fed his lunch immediately, I'm sure he was like, I don't really want to do this. I guarantee, though, his whole bench was probably yelling at him, go.
Oh, yeah.
Because they knew we had an emergency backup in the back, and their whole bench is probably like, you better go fight this guy, try and get Brochu out of the game. Whether you would have gotten kicked out or not, I don't know. If you're the first fight, you're not supposed to, but you don't really want to put yourself in the situation where I'm sure that was in the back of your mind a little bit too.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I got to be smart here. There's time and a place where I can do this, but I'm not here. Well, that's the funniest part is, like, honestly, I'm fine with it as long as I'm, not getting knocked out. But I'm fine fighting. It's part of the game. It's something that'll get the crowd going too. It's especially a goalie fight.
Oh yeah, people get fired up.
I was doing a little research. Did you fight earlier in the year?
Yes, I did in Indy. It was like during Christmas time, so it was a packed barn there. It was pretty cool, and then I kind of got into it with a player. The goalie skated down, and I was telling the guy, "Let me go. I'm gonna go the goalie," and he did, and it was pretty cool. It happened so fast. I looked back at it, and I was like, it wasn't the greatest fight, but it was fun.
Oh yeah, you get under your belt. Was that your first one?
Yeah, it was my first one.
Nice. So there's none injury. That's unreal. Yeah. Goalie fights always go viral too,
especially in junior too. Like if you get in a goalie fight, like, you're suspended for quite a while. So that was a big part of why I didn't want to fight.
And the refs probably wouldn't let you. Like, it's kind of hard.
Or they let you fight.
The lines. Yeah, they'll let you go on the coast for sure. I love it. It's good for the game, man. It gets everybody fired up. It's going viral. It's going viral. Every goalie fight ever goes viral.
Especially if they don't kick us out of the game. Like, I think it probably should happen more often.
Yeah.
That game, the refs didn't even really know.
So what happened to you, though? I heard.
Yeah,
so,
it was kind of.
This is great.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So I get kicked out of the game. There's 5 seconds left in the second period. They send me to the locker room, say you're done for the night. I get completely undressed. I'm about to go in the shower. There's 10 minutes left in the intermission. Coach comes in and says, "You're going back in. You're going back in." And I'm just like, "What do you mean I'm going back in? I'm butt-ass naked, about to go in the shower." And I throw my gear back on and go back in for the third, get dressed in like 5 minutes, and just go back out there. And I was like, this is wild. This is the craziest thing that ever happened.
So no penalty, didn't get kicked out. If you're the first fight, as long as you're not the second fight, then the goalies don't get kicked out. You just go back to your crease. So if there's a scrum and nobody's fighting and the goalies scrap, they just go back to their crease and keep playing.
Yeah, someone will serve the 5 minutes.
Which has got to be crazy as a goalie because you're gassed after a fight. Especially a goalie fight with all that gear on, you got to be gassed.
Listen, I was watching the fight, and any goalie fight, really, I mean, you got so much equipment, you can't really extend your arms. You had some really good head movement and defense in your first fight. You really had him back. I was watching. I was like, yeah, he's got some skill. And one thing about you, man, it was like, you talk about quick hands. You got that mask off him real quick too. It was like cat-like reflexes. It was unreal watching that, man. You got some form. I don't believe that was your first. That might be your first or second recorded fight, but he
had an older brother and some older cousins. So
we would definitely get after it. Me and my brother for sure. Like, we definitely. Yeah, not my first fight in a game. I'll say that, but yeah, me and him used to get after it quite a bit.
Yeah, no, you had some serious form, and I don't know if that's because you're rubbing elbows with Mr. Diamond Hands a lot now, but you had some pretty serious form, and I was impressed with the head movement, and I was like, okay, Broch knows what he's doing here. He was using his reach. Listen, Broch, has there ever been, like, start of a game, puck drops?
Oh my God. Puck drop,
the tie, everyone everyone separates. Could you imagine a center ice goalie fight, start of a game. It's like
you talk to the other goalie in warm-ups and you're like, hey man, you want to give me one off the draw? Yeah. That would literally be the most epic thing ever.
We should get that set up.
Listen.
That would be unreal.
Listen, this is important to me. I want this on record. Talking Trash Podcast. This was the first time I've ever heard it discussed. I would love. Now, you guys in Wheeling seem to go after it for some reason.
It's always
I would love.
Against Wheeling, yeah.
You're telling me, okay? Drop the puck. You know what I mean? It's like everybody separates.
I'm so fired up right now just thinking about this.
The greatest. That would be one of the greatest moments in hockey history, and I don't think it's ever been done. And it needs to happen. I would love that to happen. And again, especially if you don't get kicked out after the first fight.
Money on the board.
I would love. Listen. I want it to be known it started here on the Talking Trash Podcast. So if someone hears this and takes the idea, I'm telling you it would be the greatest moment. I think you said it earlier. You got a girlfriend? Are you involved with anybody right now? Or
Yeah, I do. I got a girlfriend. Yeah.
What'd she think about the fight?
She thinks it's funny. I mean, she's all for it. Yeah, she kind of like obviously is a little worried for me, but I mean,
it's inevitable.
Yeah. It's
listen. All the toughest guys have the best supporting girlfriends. I mean, we know with Mr. Diamond Hands here, he's got an amazing support system with my girl Jamie. I know my boy Brad Wingfield. So it's good. That's why I asked you. So I feel even better knowing you have a supportive girlfriend. And what's her name? Put her out there. You got to put her out there, man.
Yeah, Sylvia.
Yeah, Sylvia. Shout out Sylvia.
She came over for lunch the one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brochu brought over for lunch. She got to buzz around. She was holding the baby, and it's good.
Yeah.
Shout out Sylvia. Hey, listen, what's the best, like, in-game, whether it's from a fan, if you're on the bench or on the ice, chirps, okay? Whether it's junior, pro, has there been, I mean, it comes with the territory, being, an away goalie, especially if you're on the bench. Has anyone really got under your skin? Like, player, fan, like, what's a chirp that you've heard that if you could think of one that's just gotten under your skin, if any?
Ooh, we were the enemy of a lot of teams, so every time we would go to a road game, I'd be getting shredded. In Erie, it was real bad where there was fans just like having signs of just like how many goals I was gonna let in, and like one of the games I let in like however many goals they had on the sign, and this guy was just giving it to me like nonstop. I think he had I was gonna let in 6 at the start of the game, and I let in 6. It was a tough night for me.
They let you know too.
Oh, he was letting me know, and that was like honestly, usually I don't let chirps bug me as long as I'm playing good. But like if I'm struggling and it's going bad and guys are really giving it to me, I'm like, you know what, you're honestly right now,
dude. I'm thinking about the fan that wrote to Brochu how many goals he was going to let in, and he let in that many. You know, he was so happy, right?
Oh,
The pride of the fans.
He was talking about that with the boys for the month.
Yeah.
I made that
guy's day. I made that guy's month, probably, actually. So, yeah.
You were probably battling so hard at 5, eh? You were probably
please
at this point. Obviously, you're battling so hard the whole time, but you're like, I literally cannot let another one in.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I say fans can really be a 7th man on the ice. If you get in their head, and Danbury was notorious, Section 102 was notorious. Like you said, you just hit on the head, Ames. I could see you. You had that in your head. This guy said, "I'm letting in 6. I'm at 5." You were probably tight, really like.
Well, Danbury's classic for that, right? Like Danbury's literally, so like there's Section 102, like Brochu obviously doesn't know, so I'll tell Brochu, but like Section 102 is like the epic section. Like these guys are ruthless. Like some of the stuff I heard, like I'm on Danbury and I hear them say stuff and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And I've told this story before on the pod when I laid that guy out. It was AJ calls it my christening to Danbury. So what happened was, there was 8 seconds left in the game. We were up like 6-2 or something. Like I probably didn't need to hit this guy, but at the end of the day, I played between the whistles. It's my first game out of retirement, trying to make a point, and I lay this guy out he was like 10 feet. He was almost on the dot, on the blue line dot, and I hit this guy so hard. He was in the air, and he hit the boards in the air from the dot. Like I crushed this guy.
Oh
and
my
he was
God.
like horizontal when he hit the boards, and he was laying there, and I think he was like, I don't know if he was fully unconscious, but he was laying there. He looked like he was sleeping. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I was like, oh yeah, good hit. I was kind of pumped for a bit. And then I'm like, and then I kind of look back, he's down. I'm like, okay, a little worried he hasn't moved. And then I was like, you know what, man? Like I like we always talk about the universe and stuff. I'm like, maybe I'll just say a little something for this guy. Hopefully he's good. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm going to play hard. I don't want to hurt anybody. So I'm on one knee, you know, saying a little prayer for this guy. Like, hey, hopefully he's okay, you know. And all of a sudden, section 102, they're right there because it's right in front of their bench. You hear them start chanting, body bag, body bag. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, what are they saying? And I'm like, are they saying body bag? And they have a body bag. They're holding a body bag and they're passing it from the top down. They're trying to throw this body bag on the ice. Yeah, it's the craziest thing.
Ruthless.
Yes, it started back in the Trashers days and they still do it. And the reason I wanted to bring this up too is the FPHL is just a joke. We all know that. But the FPHL just banned the body bag.
We should get that here.
Yeah, we should. Hey, we can't do it in the FPHL, but we can do it in the ECHL.
Listen,
We need to bring the body bag to Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Broch, it doesn't matter what the league is. Danbury has caused more rule changes than any team in probably hockey history. And the fans, at the start of the year, they banned air horns. Okay, thanks to Jeff Kozo, I think. They banned air horns. They banned something else recently, and now they banned this lovable part of Danbury history, the body bag. I'm appalled.
The air horns were so cool too. Like in playoffs last year, like AJ, you know, but like in playoffs last year, the air horns was the craziest thing I have ever experienced in my life. After every game in playoffs last year, my ears would ring for a half an hour. I swear, the whole place, 3,000 people with air horns. It was the craziest thing. The whole game. Timeouts were useless. They were for rest. Timeouts were for rest. That was it. There was as soon as the other team calls a timeout, you got section 102 hanging their air horns over the glass, just blasting them in the coach's ear. Like literally, you could, even us on a timeout, like they wouldn't stay quiet for our timeouts. Like it was just, they're just full tilt, and it was the craziest thing. And the league just they're like, hey, we got to do something about this because no other teams were doing it like to the extent we were, and it was like. It was an advantage, but that's a part of the game, man. Like the fans help.
That's what makes it hard to play in buildings like that, especially when we go on a road game where you know, like like Toledo's
like that.
Toledo's like that, where they're so loud, like and it's honestly it's really hard. It's tough to get the momentum going for your own team. Like if they score first, it's tough.
They're buzzing. The fans are buzzing. Toledo's got a nice barn too.
We have a good fan base too. Like when we get going, it's pretty special.
Yeah, so. It gets crazy here in Fort Wayne with all the people too. Like I remember coming here my first weekend when I had to serve those 6-game suspension. And Jesse, our head coach, is like, hey, Ames, you know what? Just enjoy the game. He's like, don't wear a suit. Just pretend you're a fan. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, it's not really going to work. Because he's like, hey, we don't really want anybody yet knowing that you're here or whatever. And I'm thinking in my head, like, Jesse, I have 30,000 followers on Instagram. I'm pretty sure these fans are going to know why I'm here. Like, I'm not just coming to a Fort Wayne Komets game, friend, you know? So I felt kind of weird walking around the stands. People are taking pictures with me, and I was wearing like a sweater. Like just a regular sweater.
That was
and
a
like,
funny day,
it was funny, but we were buzzing around. He's like, yeah, just go hang out and enjoy it, you know, which was really fun for me too, though, because I got to just experience as a fan. I don't think I had a beer, but I probably should have, you know, because I knew I never would have been able to again. I knew I would have never been able to again. But yeah, no, it was cool to experience it that way. And I remember, I think it was like a sold out game too. There's like 12,000 people there. I was like, this is insane. Like, I remember we used to get 10 when I played in Tulsa every once in a while, and that was like probably the most I had played in front of. In the Central League days, but 10 in the BOK Center was like held 18,000, so it didn't feel the same. It's like when this place is sold out, even when it's not sold out, when it's like packed, it's crazy, man. The fans, and we got the same chance, some of the same chance we got in Danbury. You know, when we score, they all say, hey, you suck to the goalie, which I'm sure Broch probably has gotten that one before. I'm sure it sucks to hear, hey, you suck after you just got scored on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, I was completely appalled to learn that the Federal Hockey League just banned such a fun thing in Danbury as the body
that was
bag.
Like an epic Danbury Section 102 thing. We got to do a Section 102 night maybe in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh man,
we gotta get a bus full of Section 102 Bring them up to Fort Wayne. Bring the body bag.
Oh, man, they would love it. We'll have to bring the body bag to Fort. Now they can't use the poor body bag. Has got R.I.P. to the body bag. No pun intended, man.
That was around for Chins and Trashers days. It's crazy.
Hey, bro, speaking of, hearing, hey, you suck from the fans and everything, you have a favorite tantrum you've ever thrown on the ice or in the tunnel, in the locker room? Because again, like the hockey writer said in the quote, you guys are ready to snap at any moment. Do you have a favorite tantrum, or are you always cool, calm, and collective, or what's the story?
I had a couple in junior C that were pretty bad. When I was 16, I ripped a puck at the coach, like on the other team's bench, like right at him, directly at him, in the playoffs, and he was giving it to me pretty good after. But yeah, like just a couple dumb things that I've done that I'm just as like, kid, where I just look back and I'm like, I sometimes got to keep my cool out there, but I usually like can keep it pretty calm out there. Until someone does something to me, then I'm like, all right.
Insta shed. Yeah. Gloves are, he left his glove and blocker in the crease.
Until I find out from shedding them with someone that I shouldn't have.
Hey, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter win or lose. It's all about showing up. We all know that. I did that for a lot of years. It happens, man. At the end of the day, you can't win every fight. We all know that. So
No. But listen, we touched on it really super early when we started talking with Brochu, and he kind of glazed over it a little bit. But do you have any superstitions on game day? I'm going to ask Ames the same thing, but do you have any, like I know guys put on one side, like they got to do their whole left leg first, skate, all this stuff. Do you have any like kind of weird superstitions or any weird thing you could think of, or would you think would be weird?
Yeah, you could probably write a list. I say it's probably like, I tell myself it's more of a routine, but like as the season goes on, like I'm definitely doing a lot more stuff, but I'm a left leg guy first. Left skate, left pad. I do it.
You ever mix it up? If you had like a couple bad games,
not even consciously. Sometimes it's just my left. I do it for practice too. I don't know. It's comfortable. I've done it for so many years that like, I don't know. It just makes me feel normal. I don't know.
So I do right. I always do right. And like, okay, so this is the thing for me. I don't really have like I do stuff like that. Like I have stuff that's just a habitual thing. You don't really think anything of it. But if I play like crap for like a, handful of games, I'll be like, I'm going to mix something up this week. I always mix something up. Maybe I take my stick different, or maybe so last year I started putting my left skate on first. And I went on a 6-game point streak. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I just got to keep doing my left skate first. And then obviously you get cold again. I think I got a 20-game suspension. So you kind of, naturally you're going to cool off a little bit. But I'm back to doing my right leg first. But I feel like it's just habitual things for myself. There's nothing I can think of right now that's like something I've always done. But for me, if I play a good game, I'm doing the exact same stuff in the next game. But I do tend to mix it up because I don't always have the best games. I always feel like I can be better. So I'm like, oh, maybe if I change some up, I'll be better this time, But then if I feel really good, then I'm like, I'm not changing shit up. I'm doing things the exact same next game, 100%.
What about pregame meals? You guys eat something specific? Like that's something I remember a lot of trashers used to do. There was like guys that had a pregame meal. That was what they ate. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? Not even the goalies were doing that. Like you guys got like a go-to pregame meal?
Yeah, I switch it up every once in a while, but I like keeping it simple with just chicken and rice and some veggies or sometimes shrimp. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm mixing up, but I have a handful of things that I'll eat. Like I know what I won't eat. I know what makes me feel bad. But yeah, I try and keep it pretty tight. Like I honestly, if I had to think about like what makes me feel the best, like I'll go with like some chicken, like a chicken breast with some salt. Like I won't even put spices on it, and then I'll do like a pasta noodle, like quinoa pasta noodle, with no sauce, just maybe butter or oil and some salt.
Your plays are pretty wild.
That's crazy, right? Yeah. I've had the guys call me out on that a few times. Like we'll be leaving for a bus trip and I'm sitting there microwaving my pasta noodles there, and the boys will be like, where's the gravy? Just kidding. Where's the sauce?
Oh, this fucker.
They'd be like, wait, you're going no sauce? I'm like,
yeah,
man, the sauce, it bungs my stomach up sometimes a little bit. You get a little inflammation. Tomatoes aren't the greatest for my gut.
Well, something that's been going around social media a lot this past week is Alexander Ovechkin walk into a game with like a Subway sub and Cheetos, like flaming hot Cheetos, I think.
Every kid is eating that on a game day. I wouldn't even say kid because like I still will do that on a game day from time to time. That was kind of a go-to for me for a while, but I actually don't think Subway is the greatest game day for me.
Yeah.
But everybody's done that.
Yeah. Oh, that was my pregame meal. My dad would always stop at the Subway on our way to the game, and I would crush a sub. And looking back, it definitely didn't help me.
No.
Definitely
What about a box of Annie's on a game day with maybe a chicken or like just a box of mac and cheese?
Oh yeah.
I've never done that
No?
play.
I'll do that. I'll do a box of mac and cheese on a game day. It's kind of crazy. I actually don't do mac and cheese though. I do Annie's.
Hey, listen, so guys, World of Hockey, this week, we were talking, bros, this Ivan Fedotov, 6'7" goalie, makes his debut for the Flyers. I mean, he had a pretty good game.
Right?
Yeah, he had a pretty good game, too. I mean, could you imagine, like that's like a basketball player, and that's 6'7" without skates on. I mean, how tall you think he is with skates? Like, pushing 6'10", 6'9"?
7 feet, probably. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
He is a monster.
That's
like
crazy.
there is no net when he goes down in his butterfly. There's no net to shoot at. Like, if his hands are like just somewhat good, like you're not scoring on that guy.
Yeah.
Did you guys see him go to the wrong net?
Yeah.
Did you see that, AJ?
I've done that too.
Yes.
Because they changed the rule. They changed the rule on us, like, because my last year in the OHL, they changed the rule of like where you go in the.
So
in the overtime.
you don't keep switching sides, or you do now?
Well, because now it's a long change, right? So you go on the other side and it's a long change, so it's harder in 3-on-3. But yeah, they changed it, so I'm assuming in the KHL it was probably the other net. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's what I thought. As soon as I seen that, I'm like, oh, it's so embarrassing for him. But
it's
how does he know? How does he know? It's just funny.
Yeah.
He's his fellow countryman was the other goalie too. Is a Russian guy, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they
Gives him a little tap on the butt, gives him a chuckle, says something to him in Russian.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's Russian. I'm just totally
Yeah,
guessing
no,
he is, right?
he is, yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah, well, it was funny because, we're obviously recording this. I knew we were having Brett on today. I'm like, wow, look at this monster. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's the position. But listen, the Flyers, man, going through some struggles here. I got to ask you about John Tortorella because, again, my type of guy, fiery.
I love Torts.
I love Torts.
He says some crazy shit, though.
I absolutely.
I still love it. It's good for TV, though.
I absolutely love, but I'm going to get to this. I love Torts. We've talked about him. I really like the man. He'd be a perfect trasher coach, too. I think he's really good. And Brochu touched on it earlier, playing, in the London. You were expected to win. Like, the winning was something that was preached. And I see that with Torts. He wants to win at any cost. But, man, I want to ask you something. Do you think John Tortorella, deep down, get through the tough exterior, the layers, do you think he likes the attention just a little bit? Do you think he likes it? Because I feel like I'm not saying.
I think he does.
I think
he might just.
I think it's fun for him.
Yeah,
I think it's fun for him.
I think he has fun with the media.
Yeah,
I think he
so.
likes.
Yeah.
I think he likes also toying with them too.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I think I might get some enjoyment out of it. But honestly, I feel like I love it. I think everybody loves it. Yeah. Obviously,
I love
maybe
it.
Some of the players don't, but I mean, he's obviously an old school coach in a new game with new style players. Like, people are still a little sensitive nowadays, and who did he did? He didn't play someone the other day, and everybody got bent out of shape about it. He's the head coach. He's going to make a decision, and at the end of the day, it's his decision. The media is like, oh, why would you do this? Why would you do that? It's like, because I'm the coach, and that's how I think I'm going to get the most out of a player. And sometimes doing something like that really lights a fire under someone. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys in the game nowadays, me and AJ have talked about it, but it's not like it used to be. You used to be able to find a lot more guys that maybe had less skill, but they had way more willingness and way more compete. I feel like nowadays there's a lot of guys that have all the skill in the world, and they're just not as competitive as maybe John Tortorella would like, or I would like. And honestly, I get his style, and sometimes doing something like that is a good way to get some compete out of someone.
Well,
so I don't have anything wrong with it.
That's why I call it the it factor. Look at the team this year. They're having success.
Yeah.
And it's you can't really rip him for being so hard on guys because he's expecting a certain amount of effort every single game.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get that, then he's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And
well, that's
and
I'm
honestly,
glad
it just comes down to that. Like he's a guy where you could clearly tell like he has the players' backs as long as they're giving him everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and honestly, that's all.
And he'll run through a brick wall for them too.
Exactly.
He'll run through a brick wall for them. He'll back if his whole team is running through a brick wall in that game, and the media chirps somebody on his team. He'll rip on them. He'll back them up as long as they're putting in the effort.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I respect it.
Yeah, I love when guys, especially coaches, have accountability, and I think he does. Like,
yeah.
I do think he does.
I love. That's why I'm bringing up this point is because what Brett just said there as a 21-year-old kid in the year 2024, that's the answer I like to hear. Because, Ames, we talk about it all the time. In the old days, a guy like John Tortorella would just be another coach because hard-nosed. We talked about when Matt Rempe was going on a streak, fighting every game. People were like, "Oh my God!" But in the old days, that's how it was, right?
That's how you have to be in a new league as a guy like that. Like that was the standard. You know?
So a guy like John Tortorella may come off to like new age players or media as like, "Whoa, he's a little too much." But that's how it was, and that's what it takes to win. And that's why a guy like Brochu, who quite frankly, I'm talking like he's not there, a 21-year-old kid with that mentality. That's important because that's how you build a winner. A lot of these young kids today, they would probably be scared to death to play for a guy like John Tortorella because, hey, he might bench you. You know, a lot of these kids, they don't have the mental capacity to deal with that. Who's the, we talked about it, the Gautier kid that refused to play for Listen, Softy, I can't wait for that guy to go to Philly one day. All right? And you know what? Listen, I don't want a guy like that on my team. I don't care you score 50 goals every year. I want a guy that's mentally tough because when the playoffs come, and Brett hit it on the head, this Flyers team right now is an overachieving team because of, in my belief, John Tortorella. So it's great to see that. It's just funny to me how like every week there's something new with him. And I just feel like people just are so out of touch with what it takes to be a winner. You know what I mean? So
I think he has fun with it, but I think, like I said, it's effective. What he's doing works. Like he's a great, like I love him. I always have loved him. I've known people that played for him I've known people that played for him that loved him, and I knew people that played for him that hated him. So I've seen both sides, but I mean, for me, the biggest thing for me and the thing that I love from a teammate and the thing that I care about most from a teammate is willingness and heart and desire to you know, the fierceness, the willingness to run through a brick wall for the guy next to you. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, you need to have skill on all these other things, but like that's the thing for a lot of guys. You see it all the time nowadays. You have guys that have all the skill in the world to play in the NHL, but they not being able to match it with that can keep them from that next step. Not even just with the NHL, with just every levels. Lots of guys get stuck in certain leagues because they just don't have that dog in them.
It's the same thing in every sport.
Yeah, in every sport. Yeah.
Yes.
It's that it factor of just having what it takes. Because it does become a grind. It does become a grind.
Yeah. There's times during the year.
Well, that's why I wanted to hear, you know, Broch's input because again, he's 21 years old. All right, and a lot of these young kids don't like that, but. It's not you don't pick and choose what you like. That's who your coach is. That's who your coach is, and you got to play. And it's good to hear that. And that's also why, you know, bro, you're a winner, man. You're going places, buddy. I'm telling you, you're going places, man. And that's what you like to see, man.
I love that. Listen, hey, speaking of going places, I got to bring up my my old junior team. I brought it up to you before, AJ. Ridge Meadows Flames. Andrew Elander owns the team. He's the greatest owner I've ever had. He's a good dude. I can't say the greatest owner I've ever had because I've had so many great owners. But Andrew Elander, I got to give you a shout out. Ridge Meadows Flames, got to give you a shout out. The PJHL, Pacific Junior Hockey League. You know, that's where I started. That's the reason I am where I am now is because I started in Ridge Meadows with that team. So they just won playoffs. They won the championship and they're off to provincials now, so I want to give them a shout out before I forget. So Ridge Meadows Flames, Andrew, all you guys, congrats and good luck going into provincials and represent my hometown of Maple Ridge and you know, play like we play in Maple Ridge, which is what we were just talking about, and that's why I thought about it because you know, I grew up in a very blue collar town and that was how, you know, our minor hockey system was built based on heart and willingness to run through a brick wall. And, you know, that's obviously why this team just won playoffs. So congrats to all those guys. I had to give them a shout out.
speaking of Maple Ridge, your little Red Sox fan had such a nice debut the other day, right?
Yeah, you like
no,
that
I didn't like it because he's a Red Sox, but I'm happy for him as a person and
Man,
for you.
So he set a record. So O'Neill, he's a Maple Ridge boy. He's hit a home run on opening night or opening day in the MLB 5 years in a row.
That's crazy.
That's unreal. Like he's killing it. So I got to give him a shout out too.
Well, listen, I'm happy. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him as a person and for you and for Maple Ridge as a whole. But
you're not happy for the New York Yankees. I know that.
The Yankees were gonna be fine. I mean, I just feel bad.
You just hate to see a guy.
Yeah, I hate to see a Red Sox, achieving their dreams. So. But listen, guys, next week, okay? You know him personally, Amesy. Our boy, Danbury's own Ali Feliz, making his pro boxing debut in Corpus Christi, Texas. Another hockey hotbed.
Speaking of dogs, there's a great example.
Ali Feliz, multi-time national amateur champion. Our boy at a Champs Boxing Club. He's in camp right now.
He just won recently the what is it called?
Nationals,
the USA Olympic trials, right?
Yeah.
He just won the whole tournament. So
I mean, he is ready to go next week. Check him out, April 13th, taking on Anthony Woodson and it's gonna be on ESPN Plus, which is great. You can catch him.
Gonna be a problem in the boxing world.
Oh yeah, this is like when Matt Rempe came in, right?
Is he still super heavy? Heavyweight?
So he's a heavyweight in the pros.
Super heavy is just amateur, right?
Yeah. So he's a heavyweight. He's in Texas now, in Houston at camp. And listen, we are so proud of Ali, and make sure you check him out April 13th. And
what about Coach Dave? Where's he at right now?
Coach Dave.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Canelo's camp or something.
Yeah, they're in. Giuseppe got called Frank Sanchez, another big time heavyweight, one of the best heavyweights in the world. And Giuseppe, we got the call. Dave got the call to bring Giuseppe out there for camp. So same camp as Canelo Alvarez over there. So big things happening, man.
That's huge. That's Champs Boxing Club. In case anyone was wondering, represent.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so shout out to Ali. Check him out April 13th. And listen, man, this was a great episode, man. We got to have Brochu on again. He's a natural at this. And, we got to get our hooks in on him while he's young and before he makes it big. He'll always be here for the pod. So we got to keep. Yeah, we got to keep. Bros, it's been an absolute honor. Thank you for jumping on. Hey, listen, I got a question for you. What do you tell young goalies today? Like what should they be working on, whether it's physical, tangible stuff, intangibles? Like what advice do you have to young goalies that are looking to make it, to the pros, maybe World Juniors one day? What's the best piece of advice you could give a young goalie?
Yeah, I think skating is everything. So that's the deciding factor, obviously, for getting to the next level. But other than that, I think just having fun, like just enjoying the sport, like that you get to play, because that's something that gets forgotten about. So we really need to have fun, enjoy it. It's a privilege to play a sport, especially as a job. So.
Well, listen, you're my type of goalie, man. You're not afraid to, listen, I have faith that one day I'm going to be getting alerts that we had a game start off with a goalie fight at center ice, and I know it's going to be Brett Brochu. I'm putting, like Ames always tells me to be positive, put in the universe. I have no doubt Brett Brochu one day, folks. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. If you have, follow my man Brett. He's doing it. He's a throwback type of guy. He's going to go places, I'm telling you. And last question for you, Brett. Hardest shot you ever took? Did you ever get something to the balls, to the head? What's the hardest shot that you might remember?
The balls, didn't you? Yeah, today he got a rip right.
You got cup checked today.
Started his practice getting cup checked. I did too.
Yeah,
we both got cup checked today.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it in front of you? I was screening when I got cup checked. Yeah, both of us today. Yeah. It's a tough day.
Yeah, good thing for the cup. But,
yeah.
I've had a couple heavy shots. I think Evan Bouchard probably has the best one-timer I've ever had. He's playing for Edmonton right now. He's got the most over 95-mile-an-hour shots in the league this year.
Wow.
Wow.
He has a legit bomb.
Wow.
He ripped one off my collarbone in practice. And will I tell you, like, my shoulder, everything was numb for at least 2 to 3 days. And I didn't say a word. I was still taking one-timers from him. The coaches will remember that in London. They still give it to me about it because I wasn't saying a word. I was a young kid.
So he's on your team in London? Or
Yeah,
is
he was, like, that was my 16-year-old year where I wasn't on the team, but I was practicing. So I would just eat
You were eating the 1T. You're the 1T guy at the end of practice.
I was the 1T goalie at the...
That's unreal. Yeah. That's the dog, and I'm taking those 1Ts at the end of practice. Always doing a little extra.
So who caught you in the balls today at Fort Wayne? Who was it?
Corks.
Yeah.
And he's got a good shot.
He's got a hard 1T too.
Who's got the best? Who's got the best shot on the Komets right now? Or if it was, so we're gonna do two things here. Who's got the best shot right now? Don't think too hard about it. Who right now on the Komets has the best shot in your opinion?
Corks. Corks has the heaviest. Yeah.
Who's the best? Who's the best shootout?
Ooh, I'd probably say Dugan. I've taken a lot of his breakaways this year, and he scores a lot. He does. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't just go with a set move. Like, that's the biggest thing.
He plays 3D chess.
That's the thing that guys need to understand is when you're coming down on a shootout, you can't just have a set move and like just think that that's gonna work. You have to watch what I'm doing because I'm doing the same thing with the player. Is I'm trying to outweight you, and that's the way it works. Is so if he outweights me and looks at my feet, that's how you can score on goalies. You watch guys like TJ Oshie, one of the better guys in the NHL at shootouts. He does that. He'll come down, be doing the same move, but just read off of what the goalie's doing. So that's what Dukes does, and that's why he's good.
All right, last question.
I learned a lot from this guy and Dukes this year in the breakaways. I was terrible. I never knew how to deke a goalie. I just come in, I have to take a shot, don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. It's fun.
You got 3 in a row on me today.
3 in a row today. Yeah, I'm getting there, man. Like, I'm starting to figure it out.
All right, last question for you, bros, okay? Jesse calls you into the office today, Coach Jesse, and he says, listen, we're going out on the ice. One shot. It's one shootout round. You save the puck. You make the stop. You're going straight to Edmonton. You're going to the NHL. Who are you choosing on the Komets today that you are going to stop? And don't say Diamond Hands. All right. Who other than
someone under the bus?
Who? All right. So Jesse, Coach says, listen, I got the call from Edmonton. We got to go out there. You get one shot. You choose who you want on the shootout. Right now, you're guaranteed a contract. You're going. We got the flight. If not, you're getting sent to the Federal Professional Hockey League. Who are you choosing right now?
You would probably choose me. Let's all get real.
No Diamond Hands. No Diamond Hands.
No, because you're scoring on me lately. I might be taking Jack Gorniak just because he gets a lot of breakaways, and I know for some reason sometimes he just can't score.
He's coming in hot.
Yeah, he's coming in with so much speed. So I think I'm picking him. Sorry, Gorns, but
all right. Well, that's it.
Yeah. We'll
have to listen.
I knew he was gonna throw you into the fire at some point. I didn't know when it was coming, but there it is.
Listen. All right. So Ames, your job is after this. We have to after a practice have this matchup. And we need film of it, and one shot, one. Yep. So, hey, listen, that's. I wanted to leave that to the end.
Get that one for you. Yeah.
Please do. Well, listen, guys, this has been a great episode. Brett Brochu, make sure you follow him. Fort Wayne Komets. This kid is going places. Trust me, I still got the eye. I still got the GM mentality. This kid is going places. Brett, I appreciate you, man. Listen, last shout out, Amesy. Summit City Bullets in Fort Wayne. Shout out to our boy Tony, where accuracy and quality meet. Check them out, summitcitybullets.com. They got regular ammunition, high-tech coated bullets. My boy Tony is a super fan. One of the best guys I've met in a while. I've never met him. He's out in Fort Wayne. So shout out to Summit City. Shout out to Sweetwater hooking us up last minute with some gear for Brett coming here. The whole squad out there. Brett, it really was great talking. We got to have you back, and as you continue to climb the ladder, just don't forget about us, man. You got to come back on.
Yeah, you guys will be climbing the ladder too. So,
Amesy, you got anything before we log off?
No, just had a lot of fun. Want to thank Broch for coming on, and Yeah, man, it went well, and yeah.
Listen, we got to get that. We got to get that one round. It's one shootout. It's no one take.
We'll get it next week. I'll bring my phone out. We'll have to mic him up, and we'll do something. I got Justin over here looking. Maybe he'll bring out the cameras. We'll get it.
Yeah, definitely. We got to get shout out to Justin, the Mr. Everything over there. Justin Castleman. Okay.
We might have to start calling him Reggie Dunlop because he kind of does it all. You know?
Justin is truly that. Justin is truly that guy, man. I love Justin. So big shout out to everyone out there. Good luck, you guys, the rest of the way. I know the playoffs are coming, man. So guys, like, subscribe, follow us, talk some trash to us, good, bad, and indifferent. Get ready for the Troll Olympics coming soon, and we'll see you guys next week.